We reached our way towards Santiago. We're now in South America, so we're halfway around the world on day 37. So I feel like we're making decent time. And I think we just basically go straight up north. Right? Like, I think we just leave, because we need to get our way back up to London somehow. We'll probably have to go through the, like, the Canary Islands over here. It arrives Saturday. I mean, you're going over the, you're both Saturday as well. But you know what? I mean, how much? We're losing 18 HP there. Either way, we're losing 18. But I can't go yet. Because you don't have enough HP. So we have to get you some health. We probably need to spend the night. I spent a few hours in exploration learning ways in which we might travel onwards. Yes, I think we'll basically just go for the hotel. Spend a night. You should get some HP back. As long as you're over 18. As night fell, I found a local doctor to attend to my poor master. He put a stethoscope on Master's chest and listened. A mild fever, I would say. 2 days to recover to full strength. Honestly, I think we have time to spare right now. I kept my master in 100%. Let's go. I kept my master in bed. He's back at full strength. Honestly, you know, that's worthwhile. We can't go over there. We'll be there on Tuesday. So let's embark. We have our 3 suitcases. The pride of the South. Overall, I think 2 days is worth going back to full HP. Because if we were, like, always teetering on almost dying, probably not good. A handful of protesters flung guano at the gleaming new steam train as it pulled out of Santiago station. But as our carriage windows were thankfully spared. Waste of good guano, the stately matron across from us murmured, rearranging her improbably large, bright feathered hat. Do you not believe in political protest, madame? I inquired, with a twinkle in my eye. The woman looked over with surprise, as though I had only just noticed our presence. Her eyes were intensely dark and lively with intelligence. And who, pray, are you? This is my master, Monsieur Fogg, I said. And I am his humble valet, Passepartout, I said. I am Professor Gabriel Sanabria. She inclined her head graciously. Let me guess, you're a mammalian sort of fellow, aren't you? Caniforma or... Excuse me? I beg your pardon? I cleared my throat. I fear I must have misheard you. The professor seemed to resist the urge to roll her eyes. But only just. Dogs or cats, she barked. Pick ones. Cats. I answered in a panic, offering her a weak smile. The professor sniffed. Doesn't surprise me one bit. Just then the guard entered to check our tickets, granting me a brief reprieve. A strange conversation with an even stranger woman. Your character is now presentable. Greetings, Professor. Yes, hello. Okay, what can you tell me about Anthnwam? Well, one can travel hire carriage to Rio de Janeiro. Okay, pick up candles, send on the roads of Rio de Janeiro, sells for a lot in New Orleans. Buenos Aires is the city of the artificers. Would you like some whiskey? There you go. Buenos Aires is... No, we want to go to Rio de Janeiro, I think. It's paradise, plain and simple. Well, let's go to Rio. Which put us onto the coastline. Which I think overall is pretty decent. We paused for a whole day on the Argentine border. A slow climb up into the mountains. I kept my... Okay. You already have 100 HP, so I think it's fine. I kept my nose to the window the whole time, staring across the cloud-top mountaintops in all directions. The world here was like a version of Europe, made more dramatic and extreme. I can imagine Spanish settlers feeling they had entered a whole nother plane of existence, a world above the world they came from. Okay, so you're losing some HP, but only like 18 honestly isn't so bad. I passed our time on our second day. Eavesdropping. Trying to gather information for our next leg. Discovered cheerful American soldier that pirates frequently hijack airships traveling into the Caribbean from New Orleans. But I think we already have all the routes there from a little book we bought. What do you wish, master? Is there something... Okay, something the matter. How about some dates and figs? I find these things terribly sweet. And you know what? You have 91 HP. We don't need to talk to anymore. That's fine. The professor came to stand beside me at the window as he traveled slowly upwards toward the mountain. What do you make of the country? She demanded in a word, large. There's no way to describe your country, sure by Coley. The size is an entire passive element. With that judgment passed, she moved away to the train, chuckling herself about something. Who does this professor think she is? It's Argentina's a big country. Not like I'm lying to her. Strangely enough, we did not stop at the Paraguayan border, though a pair of artificers came through and checked the train. I asked their purpose politely, and they gave me identical looks of surprise before glancing pointedly towards the windows. Paraguay just lost a war, of course. What war? Are you truly so ignorant? The artificer sneered. Paraguay fought the joint forces of Brazil, Argentina, and Uruguay. Little wonder their country is now in ruins. He pointed through the window. Instead of the green fields and villages, I saw churned up earth, piles of rubble and ash. Vast Anthnwam lay bodied and rusted in the fields, giving a landscape an altogether forbidding look. I can only imagine what we'd find when we reached the city of Anthnwam. Do you have anything in the market? False D sells for a decent amount, so we'll sell those. 10:45 p.m. Let's buy the cold compress. We probably don't need the desert traveler stuff anymore. But I'm sure the stream's probably a little bit more watchable than when do you leave? You leave on Friday. Only 130 pounds actually is not that bad. $2,900. When are you leaving? You depart in 2 days. £900 for tomorrow. I mean, 1,130 pounds to go tomorrow instead of 2 days. Price is rather steep. You know what? Let's spend some time here. Oh, we do get some more routes though. You're probably gonna go up to this city, yeah. You go back to Buenos Aires. I was taking it back to discover patrols of artificers walking the war-ravaged streets of Anthnwam as the locals scurried about with their heads ducked low. A passing Gironi man noticed my expression of surprise and jerked his head towards the nearby alcove, after casting a wary glance at the nearest patrol. I followed him into the shadows. He told me his name was Monsieur Amra. You should not stare at the artificial bull, he hissed. They are the new masters of Paraguay. Do you mean the artificers rule here? I could not help squeaking a little of my surprise. The Artificers Guild call themselves our guardians and caretakers. But you can see the truth of it. They are in charge of Paraguay now, and have taken over Buenos Aires completely. Why do you need caretakers, I inquired? Or guardians, for that matter. We used our own autonomy to fight our war, until the surrender a few months ago. And the guild judges us criminals. Monsieur Amra says bitterly, ha! The only crime was losing the war, and now we must pay the price. The guild has no rights to rule your country, no matter what crimes you have committed. I could not suppress my indignation. They do you an injustice. Ah, my friend, the merchant shrugged, his voice leached with anger. I have learned that justice is something that belongs to the victors. There's no such thing for those who lose such a war. I think it's available on mobile, yeah. And with that, Monsieur Amir took his leave and I walked through the somber city for hours, trying very hard not to think of the wars and losses too costly to bear. So when do you leave? You depart tomorrow. A little bit more expensive, but yeah, no, I think we're going to take that train up north. 46 HP loss. Well, we'll see. We might have some gear that makes it not horrible. 46. I mean, I'm glad we took the before going to bed, I spent some time talking to the hoteler to find out what I could. But obtained nothing but tips of scratch collars. Well, thanks. You arrive Friday. Plus 11 because of a cold compress. But, I mean, we have to leave. We're on day 44. We've already spent, I think, like a week in South America. The only ways out of the new city were by road, I sighed. Regrettably. As we loaded ourselves and our bags aboard our Driver grinned and gunned the engine before we barely seated. Well, attend to you a little bit. Give you 4 HP back. Paraguayan roads were little more than a rubble-lined dirt tracks into the countryside, but our driver, Monsieur Rio Arana, seemed assured enough. It was a war, you know, he shrugged, swerving to avoid a particularly large pothole. Everything's in ruins around here. It is a shame. Monsieur Arana sighed wistfully. Oh, indeed. This used to be a lovely stretch for racing. No chance of that now. Alas, that was the extent of our conversation on the first day, as Monsieur Arana accelerated sharply, and I diverted all my attention to keeping the contents of my stomach in their present, satisfactory location. Greeting, Monsieur le Driver. Hold on tight, Salvador. My uncle always wanted to travel to the Brazilian coastal factory, Salvador to Rio de Janeiro. I need to go north. Lima's in Peru. Buenos Aires is, I guess, Belém. Salvador linked to Belém by Brazilian gyrocopter, but the fare is prohibitive. I don't know where Belém is. Maybe here? Okay, no, there's Belém. Okay, so it's on the north. It's not all the way in, like, deep in the Amazon rainforest. Yeah, you go to Rio, but, like, I don't care about going to Rio that much. But I feel like that's just going backwards. This afternoon, I discovered that Monsieur Arana was, in fact, Brazilian, and I asked him respectively on his perspective of the war. He rather uneasily admitted little interest in the matter. Politics is for the politician, I say. He rubbed his chin. If you want to talk about engines, then I'm your man. And what can you tell me about engines? I replied cheerfully. Ah, my friends, a mistake. The next 6 hours, he talked nothing else. Alienators, pumps, compressors, pistons. So much that my head began to spin as though motorized itself. More tiring than you expected? Fine, I'll care for you a little bit, Monsieur Fogg. But this is your idea, don't forget. Soon the devastation of Paraguay gave way to the wealth of the Empire of Brazil, and we found ourselves approaching our destination. We bid him farewell, intent on exploring the city of Salvador. Well, how much is it? They say it's prohibitive. 240? That's actually not that expensive at all, honestly. Salvador was the jewel of a city tumbling into unspoiled white sand beaches, set against the unfathomable blue-green of the Atlantic Ocean. An escarpment divided into the upper city and lower city, linked by several fluidicators and newly opened elevator. I explored the nearby administrative district of the upper city, full of officials, merchants, diplomats, and well-heeled visitors. I asked a friendly diplomat about advice for traveling onwards towards Porto Novo. Porto Novo. Port-au-Prince. Unless it's like down here, but I think we want to go up. Marrakesh. I mean, we already know how to get to Belém. Okay, that leaves today. So I might as well ask about Porto Novo. Airships often fly between Porto Novo and Freetown. The Salvadorian diplomat said thoughtfully, the best way out of the city. I mean, how much do you cost? You're only 19, but we're getting a plus 10 because of our rubber-soled shoes. So overall, only losing 9 HP is not bad. The Brazilian Empire was both sprawling and wealthy, and as such, poured money into making transport as convenient as possible for its citizens. And convenient for us as well. Monsieur Fogg and I boarded a gyrocopter, which routinely ferried passengers from Salvador to Belém and back, and we were quickly on our way. Monsieur Fogg, how about a shaving kit? May I shave? There you go. How about some whiskey? And what about your health? I mean, it's 70 HP. I don't think that's much to complain about. Oh. There's little possibility of conversation over the sound of the gushing rotors and rushing wind. And so, I dozed a little in the fresh air. Feet dangling far above the ground. Strange, is it not? What one may become used to, what with time and repetition. And we have a little bit better opinion with Fogg. So that's nice. The rest of the journey passed quickly enough, and we docked into Berlin with good time and ventured into the city. So we do need to figure out how to get the hell out of here. Okay, there's one port going, probably to... going back to Africa, to the car. Bell was out 60 miles upriver of the Atlantic Ocean, a city of inlets and freshwater beaches and mango trees. It's an entrepot of the Amazon basin. Traders from the rest of the world came by to buy Amazonian rubber without having to make the long journey down the winding Brown River. So the port was crowded with European frigates and American clippers. At least 100 brightly colored airships bobbed above the harbor, owing their allegiance to the various African kingdoms and nations. I shared a cup of coffee with an airship captain. He was clearly of mixed ancestry. His dark, Senegalese skin, a pleasing contrast to the sharp blue eyes. He proclaimed himself Captain Roslin, a peanut trader bound for Dakar. The Brazilians are fiends for peanuts. He told me with a warm smile. It was lucky. Peanuts are much easier to transport than slaves. You were a slaver, I asked incredulously. Me? No, my employer. She does not approve of the slave trade. He looked away. Slavery still goes on in Brazil. It is an open secret. He pointed to the bright red airship for Porto Novo. I bet you my last shipment out of our belly is full of West African slaves. The captain regarded me shrewdly. Should be fast too if you have the stomach for it. How much faster? I asked, suppressing my instinctive revulsion. Captain Jones, his lip curled with the taste. You get to Porto Novo in a day. He knows West African slave routes inland as well. He had the forced laugh for shaking my hand. As I attend my shifts, perhaps I'll see you tomorrow, my friend, or perhaps not. Where's Porto Novo? Okay, it's in like southern West Africa, but like, here's the thing. Well, we would go here, then I'm swimming back up. Like, go to Dakar, and then, like, Lisbon, and then probably London again. I'm not too sure how you get to London. Maybe, like, we have to go back up to northern England. So I guess we'll go to the car. It arrives tomorrow. It's going to cost £1,000. But we can only bring 2 things of luggage. No charge if we want to go tomorrow. Well, you depart in 2 days. You depart tomorrow. It would be cheaper to go to Porto Novo. Huh. I mean, okay, let's see. What do we have in our luggage right now? Well, compressed. False passport. The engineering sets. You don't have a market in here, right? No. I honestly, even though it's like £1,000, honestly, I think we still want to go to the car just because it's a little bit closer. £47 of higher extra space. It's not going to cost a lot of health loss. Oh. Captain Rosego welcomed us aboard with a half mile. So you decided against traveling with the slaver then? The car's more convenient, I shrugged. We're heading to London. Or really, he cocked his head, not France. My master is English, I explained. I go where he commands me. He gave me a sympathetic look. Few of us are masters of our own destinies. I wondered at his words as we ascended into the clouds, stippled sky. The Atlantic Ocean lay before us, a glittering near infinite expanse waiting to be traversed in only 31 days. We only have 31 days? Yeah, we have 31 days. Greetings, Captain Rosalind. Passport 2, my good man. We need to probably go up to, like, Lisbon? Caracas? Why would I want to... That's going back to South America. That seems like a... Timbuktu, Porto Novo. Freetown is in... I mean, the thing is, like, I can't move the map. We're going to, like, Freetown, I think, is in, like, Liberia, right? I guess last one with Timbuktu. I'm not allergic to peanuts. The car... I mean, here's the thing. I don't want to go to, like, any of these other places. Freetown? Found by ex-slaves. There you go. Have some whiskey. Okay, anyway, let's just go. So the road to Timbuktu, like, I want to go to, like, the Marrakesh, but we have to go to Timbuktu and then up to Marrakesh. Freetown and Porto Novo are just kind of, I think, going the wrong way. Exchanging pleasantries with Captain Roseland at dinner, he was most eager to talk about his employer, Signoret Delphine Rosengold. Yes, he replied, at my raised eyebrow, she is my mother. Ah, family business, I nodded. It is pleasant to work with people you can trust. My mother's an incredible woman. I'd be lucky to achieve half her success. I thought, a lucky man. My own dear mom was a formidable woman, and I turned out all the better for it. He was most interested in my travels and adventures, and we spent the most agreeable night exchanging stories until the sun rose ahead of us, heralding the African continent. And the fog. You have like 100 HP. A day in midair, hanging like a jewel above the ocean. I spent my time playing canasta with the cabin attendant, who proved to be a masterful opponent. I broke even after some challenging play, during which I learned that one can get the Balim to Dakar in 3 days. By airship. That's what I'm on that airship. You're not really telling me much. The car came into sight. A large Senegalese crew cheered heartily, no doubt thinking of reunions with their parents and sweethearts. Captain Roseload shook my hand with odd simile as we debarked. Good, best of luck, Passepartout, he said, with every appearance of sincerity. I turned back as we reached the edge of the dock, and he was still standing upon the deck and watching us, a still, straight figure in the hazy Senegalese sunlight.